Mike Schaefer and Jimmy Becker join us via Skype now to bring us up to date on the latest with biking for babies. But before we begin, Jimmy, congratulations, you got married, I heard.
Yes, I did.
And your sister had a baby.
Yes, she did, yep.
See, we do our research on you guys. The questions are going to get tougher and tougher. We've gone behind the scenes.
That's good.
Well, good to have you on again, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, tell us what has been going on with Biking for Babies since we last spoke.
Yeah, this past year was our 6th year of riding, and in a sense, we multiplied by 3. In addition to our route from New Orleans to Chicago, we had 2 other teams of young adults riding from Dallas to Chicago and Jacksonville, Florida to Chicago. And all 3 of our teams arrived in Chicago on the same day. And with fundraising from last year, we were able to eclipse almost $250,000 in total fundraising since we first began for Pregnancy Resource Centers. So yeah, that's been our big adventures for the past year.
Tell us a little bit, Mike, if you could, about that. You mentioned the teams and how that all works and plays together.
Yeah, so it presented new challenges and new reward, new excitement at the end. I think the biggest challenges were each of our team leaders, myself and Jimmy and Jeremy Winter and Christina Woodman, breaking up and leading each of those 3 teams. So placing a significant amount of trust in each other, knowing that not only would the same Biking for Babies spirit kind of permeate each of the teams and the towns we went through individually, but that also we'd all arrive safely. And so based upon, I think, what we all saw in Chicago on July 20th, arriving safely within only about 10 minutes of each other after a week of riding, I think we accomplished that.
Well, you mentioned that you guys have raised a lot of money, and Jimmy, they go to these centers for an awareness. Now that you are an intern, what's it like to manage such a busy task list?
I think the most important thing is just kind of setting priorities with it. And some of the big challenges for us is, as we continue to grow, is we have people working for the organization in different locations of the country. And so just kind of keeping in tabs with one another and constant communication is key. And that's what's helped us to establish sort of what we've now drafted as what we're looking to do for the upcoming year as far as the ride goes. And so we're actually looking to expand the route, or continue to have the 3 routes, but to expand to have 5 teams, God willing. So hopefully, with the help and support of those that apply for the position, we'll have a full team of 54 riders and support crew members joining us in this upcoming adventure.
I love the banner behind you guys, by the way. That looks great. I have to ask you, so a lot of our viewers right now are tuning in and they see these 2 young guys who are putting so much effort into this, and it's just not effort, it's time and it's a lot of resources. What made you 2 guys decide to do this?
It's, as my mother says, it's never just one thing. It is kind of a providential coming together of a lot of different factors. I think 2 of the biggest things, though, was 1, our mutual penchant for really pushing yourself for big physical endurance challenges. As I tell people, when it was the summer after my freshman year of college, and I kind of brought up the idea kind of enchantingly to Jimmy one day, like, it'd be great as if someday we did like a 500-mile ride and bike ride in 5 days. Like, wouldn't that be something? I can only imagine the years of training that would be required. And to that, Jimmy responded.
Yeah, that if we're going to do something like that, it'd be great to do it for the Pro-Life Initiative. And I think what's really stirred our interest as we've continued to grow within the organization is just the opportunities and the encounters and the experiences at the Pregnancy Resource Centers. That's really fueled the fire in a lot of ways. Even just our first year, we had the opportunity to go to one of the pregnancy centers where one of the families that had adopted their child through the pregnancy center came with their with the young infant, and being able to hold that little girl in my arms, just it was a surreal experience, and it helped to kind of set reality and keep things in motion as far as right after that experience or shortly after we went back to the drawing board. This was only our first year, and we said, is this something that we think could continue? And both of us, without reservations at all, said, yeah, absolutely. Like, this is really something that we see is a great way to get people involved and encouraging them, essentially encouraging hope, and at the same time too, kind of bridging the gaps where there are gaps. Because the unfortunate reality is a lot of people don't know that pregnancy resource centers exist, and for those that have heard of a pregnancy resource center, they generally associate Planned Parenthood as such an organization. And so there's a lot of ignorance, which is due to the fact that the pregnancy resource centers are doing their best to provide for the women, yet at the same time they're trying to run an organization. And as Mike and I have come to know, a lot of these pregnancy resource centers have limited resources. Most of them only run with 2 hired staff, and everybody else is a volunteer. And so if all of these people are taking the initiative to volunteer in some way, we saw this as a vital way in which we could help as far as promoting what they're doing and encouraging their work.
Great.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. And you talked about involvement there, Jimmy. What are some practical ways that people can support your efforts for Biking for Babies?
Great question. We're just starting now with kind of creating the initial hype and the promotion for the ride this year. And so if anybody's between the ages of 18 and 30, young adult, and they're interested in riding or participating as a support crew member, they're welcome to do that. We also have other ways for people to get involved as far as fundraising directly to Biking for Babies and or fundraising directly to their pregnancy resource center located in their hometown. So those are particular ways. We're also always in need of help as far as whatever skill set somebody has that is related to promotion, whether it's marketing or any sort of website design. We're always looking to find ways to kind of keep it cost effective that way we can always eliminate or reduce the administrative costs that goes into continuing to grow and develop the organization.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Bikingforbabies.com. Great job, and as always, thanks for being on the show. Have a great day and continue the great work.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. God bless.
Thank you. They do such a great job.
Yeah, great guys too.